Hey, everybody. Welcome back to I Know a Guy. I'm Anthony, and this is the podcast where connections thrive. Each episode, we spotlight inspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals doing amazing things. Together, we'll grow your circle, spark collaborations, and discover new opportunities. Today, we're meeting Robert Stolack, a life settlement expert who helps people understand the alternative to lapsing or surrendering their life insurance policies. Through education and strategic solutions, they empower policyholders to unlock the hidden value in their existing life insurance. How you doing today, Bob?
I'm doing great, Anthony. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, trying to stay warm here in Iowa. It is cold, so I'm happy that I don't have a commute.
Well, can't say the same about here. It's about 80 degrees and beautiful sunshine in Boca Raton.
Yeah. Well, I was excited to have you on. You're doing stuff a lot of people didn't even know existed. People think, life insurance settlement doesn't even cross their mind. But to start off, you said you're in Boca Raton. Have you been there forever, or are you newer to the area?
A little less than forever. I've been here about 40 years.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the next best thing to forever. So awesome.
Right.
Awesome. Well, let's say you have friends coming into town that have never visited before. Where are you taking them? What are you guys doing for fun, and where are you going for dinner?
Okay. So to answer the last question first, there are a lot of good restaurants here that we go to, Italian or surf and turf type of restaurants. The place that people really want to go to are the beaches. So that's where we take them to, and they're able to see, especially if they're coming from a cold area like where you live, they really, they want to put their feet in the water and, get used to that. So that's great. But also now at this time of year, it's the baseball spring training is starting, and I have two stadiums within an hour of me that we can go see the games. And in a few weeks, I'm meeting a friend of mine who is originally from Brooklyn, and we're going to take a ride over to Tampa and see the Yankees play. So that's going to be interesting and nice.
Yeah, no, that's fun. That all sounds good. Sounds better than freezing right now. So I think right now it's about negative 14 with the wind chill. So, people live here on purpose. I'm one of them. So what can you do? So awesome. Well, what can you tell us about what you do?
Okay. So I'm in the life settlement business. I work mainly with seniors. When I say work, I educate seniors on another seniors who have existing life insurance policies, and I give them another option than rather than lapsing it or surrendering their policies. See, it's an amazing statistic, but almost 100 billion a year every year gets surrendered in face amount by seniors, and it's like 500,000 policies get lapsed or surrendered, given back to the insurance company. And if it's surrendered, it's just given back for the cash surrender value, which is usually very little or nothing in a lot of cases. So we give them another option on being able to sell their policy to vetted institutional buyers who are actively looking for these policies. And it works out quite successfully for them.
Okay. Well, how'd you get started doing this? Is this something you wanted to do since high school, or is there a story there?
The answer is I didn't even think about it in high school. But what happened here, I sort of got into it by accident. I've been in the insurance business right now for about 30 years. And a number of years back, a client of mine who was an attorney, he had taken out some life insurance with me, $1.5 million worth of life insurance. And he was 72 at the time. 7 years after that, he had been a longtime client of mine. 7 years after that, he's 79, now retiring from his work, and his premium was $46,000 a year. So he called me up and told me this is going to be a bit of a stretch in my retirement. I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to afford this. Do you have any, suggestions for me? I was not in the life settlement business at the time, but we looked at some options. A life settlement came up as one of them. And we got together with one of the name brand companies that advertise on TV all the time. And they offered him $50,000 for his policy. Well, he didn't like that number for it, but he had zero cash surrender value in the policy. So we figured, well, 50,000 is better than no thousand. Well, we didn't accept that. And we did some more research. And I got together with a company that I eventually became a strategic partner of mine. And we have a proprietary bidding process where you don't have one buyer making an offer. You have dozens and dozens making offers on policies that they're attracted to. And we were able to get him $488,000 as a gross offer for his policy compared to the 50.
It's a bit more than 50,000.
But a
Definitely a
bit
lot more
more.
than zero. So,
Yeah,
there's something to be said
almost
with
10
that.
times the amount. Yes.
Yeah. So, what
Yeah.
do you love about what you're doing?
Yeah. So moving on with this case. So I looked at this and I said, well, how is that even possible? I've been in the insurance business a long time. How does that work? Well, if one person knocks on your door and makes you an offer on your house, and it's a take it or leave it proposition, where if you have many vetted buyers that are looking for this, the price will, go up because of the competition. So what I did for this gentleman, okay, and his wife is a client of mine too. We did her policy as a life settlement as well. We sort of saved his retirement because he was borderline struggling, and with this amount of money here, he was able to retire nicely and not have to worry about ongoing bills and lifestyle that he was able to keep up. So that's what I really enjoy. It's a win-win-win for everybody. It's a win for the client. It's a win for the buyers. These buyers, they're looking for these policies. These are big institutional, hedge fund type of companies that are looking for these type of policies as part of their portfolio, and they actively will pursue this and place very nice offers on this, and it works out for them, for the seller, for the buyer, and for us.
Awesome, awesome. Well, what are some hard-won lessons that you learned? Obviously, you've been in the industry for a long time. What are some hard-won lessons that maybe people that are starting off looking at things like this that they need to consider, that if you can go back and tell yourself about earlier in your career that you would kind of advise yourself to do?
Okay, you're speaking about the client now who might be looking to sell the policy, or
No, just
someone.
you in general. If you had to go back to when you started, just an entrepreneur in general, what
Okay,
advice would you give yourself or for new people starting off in the industry today?
sure. So I think every great business is started by a need. So if you see what a need is out there, where people need something, and you're able to fill that need with something that's ethical and works well, I think that would comes in very, very handy for them. And so that's what I would look back at. There are things like this that you could come in and you fill that void, and you're able to make everyone satisfied in a situation. I think that's very big.
What about what's your average client look like? So your avatar, or what are the pain points that somebody might be going through that if they're dealing with XYZ, you're the person that they should talk to?
Okay. So our average client, as you put it, okay, we usually deal with people that are at least 65 years of age or older, okay, and have policies that they don't want, don't need, or can't afford anymore. A lot of people have policies like that, and they just, they might have bought it for, family protection, but the kids are growing up now and they don't need that. They could have bought it for estate planning, and maybe their situation changed on the taxes situation. They could have bought it for spousal protection. Maybe their spouse isn't here anymore, or they're divorced. Many reasons for that. And so they just keep paying the premium, or as one of the 500,000 policies, they just let it lapse. So this is an option. We're able to give them free appraisals. It doesn't cost them anything to do this. And it'll be just like having a painting that maybe you bought at a flea market 10 years ago. You put it up, you put it in your garage. You don't know what it's worth, but you spent $100 on it 10 years ago. Now you go out and it's a possibility you get it appraised. It could be worth, tremendous amount of money. Why not find out? Information is powerful. The thing with what I do, I can't help everyone. So what I mean by that is sometimes a person is not the right age, or their health hasn't been changed since they took out the policy, or ongoing here, maybe the policy doesn't perform well ongoing. So about 30% of the people that I do connect with, I'm able to help in a life settlement way, but I do help all of them by letting them know what they have in their policy and how will continue on for them because of my 30 years experience in the business.
What about power partners? What does your average power partner look like, or what are other industries or professionals that you find a lot of collaborations with?
Thank you for asking that question. So half our business comes from other insurance agents who work with clients and seniors, and they might not have even ever asked this question, of their client, or had this discussion. And they could bring this up as a topic, the agents that are interested in this. And the client is, they say, okay, we would take a look at this. And they come with us with their name and number. For example, we just had a case on a term policy. Now, a term policy is what it says, a term. You have a term, and at the end of the term, the policy lapses. Okay? So you can convert it to a permanent plan, but it's usually very expensive. So most people, 99.9% of them, just let it lapse. So we had a case where a gentleman, he's only 66, and his son just became an insurance agent who knew an associate of mine. And it was a 20-year term. It was $1 million policy. He had 3 weeks to go before it was going to lapse. And my associate said to this man's son, why doesn't your dad run it by Bob, see if you can get something? Term policies never have any cash surrender value. He sent it over. He sent over the information. We took a look at it. And remember, there's 3 weeks to go on this. 12 bids later, we were able to get him a gross offer of $200,000. Now, that doesn't always work in every single case. So I'm not saying this is going to work for everybody. But the ones that, in that 30%, the ones that it does work for, it works in a big way.
So just in general, why would somebody want to sell their life insurance policy?
Well, one reason would be the premium, could go up exponentially, from 1 year to the next. Most people who have life insurance think that even on permanent plans, they've been paying premiums year after year and it never changed. Now, all of a sudden, they're 79, 80, 81. It went up 10 times what they were paying last year. So they say, wait a second, I got to call the insurance company. There's a mistake. Well, there isn't a mistake, because what it was when they took out the policy, it was guaranteed to a certain age at that premium. After that, all bets are off. So that would be one reason why that could happen. Another reason is, for example, we deal with a lot of corporate policies, which are businesses that take out policies on their key man. Okay, key man is the person that runs the business, or on buy-sell agreements, which are arranged with a contract for the partners. So if a partner passes away, the business gets the money, and then they can buy out the beneficiaries. So the new partner isn't the wife or the children. So it's arranged like that. But maybe that business A doesn't exist anymore. Maybe the key man retired. Maybe the partnership. Maybe some of the partners retired. Maybe they sold the business. So it could be a policy just hanging around. We just had a case where it was a key man policy, and they were going to let it lapse. And again, it was, run it by our company, see what we could do. This gentleman didn't go, even though he was in his 70s, he didn't go to the doctor a lot. So he had a very small folder of medical records. So it was very healthy, but still we were able to get them $75,000. The owner was so impressed that we ran an appraisal on his, and he had a $2 million policy, and his gross offer was over $700,000 that came in on that one. So we work with every kind of policy. Doesn't matter if it's permanent, IUL, GUL, term, and it could be individually owned, corporate owned, or owned by a trust. It all works.
How can people determine if selling their life insurance policy is the right financial move?
Well, that, they'd have to perhaps confer with their, accountant and family members about that to see if that does work for them, because it's a situation where really lies is this. People don't know absolutely how valuable that policy is when it's sitting in the drawer. They might look at the cash surrender value. They might have $1 million policy and see, $3,000 of cash surrender value. So they don't cash it in because it's not worth it. But if that $1 million policy was worth $200,000-$300,000, just saying, where, after it was appraised, that might change their mind. So I think what they have to do is, if they're interested at all, find out what it's worth. There's no obligations on this at all. And then you could make that decision based on the actual facts and the present information on it.
Okay. I know we could go down a rabbit hole because there's a lot of examples, a lot of people out there
Sure.
that would be able to benefit. But is there anything that I missed that maybe you'd like to add?
Well, see, I've been doing this this sector of the of life settlements intensely for a little more than three years now. And what I'm amazed about, including financial professionals, people don't know this exists. So that's why I'm messaging, and I thank you for inviting me on your podcast because Pete, the word needs to get out that this is an option. This doesn't hurt. This is an option which can or may work for someone. And I'm a believer. Get all the information you can, and then you can make an informed decision on on how to move forward. And that might be doing nothing, but get all the information. Get all the information you can.
For people that want to get all the information, what's the best way that they get a hold of you, or where can they find you?
Okay. So my website is sell SELL my policy POLICY the number 4 more.com. So it's sell my policy for more.com. My phone number is 561-251-8680. And we'd be happy to answer any questions that your viewers might have.
Perfect. If anybody would like to get a hold of Bob, absolutely do it. Like he said, you want the information. You want to make sure that what you're doing is the right thing, or your client is doing is the right thing. Because if there's money to be had, instead of letting it lapse, you should probably get it, right? Because where else is it going to go? So absolutely have that conversation. I'll put all that in the show notes so it's easy to find. But anybody out there that wants to meet me as well, you can find me at ikag.me. You can find more episodes, subscribe to our newsletter, and connect to our growing community of awesome people like Bob. If you or somebody you know would like to be interviewed, you can also apply on the website. But Bob, really appreciate you coming on and sharing this because, like you said, a lot of people don't know this even exists. They're like, oh, well, it's too expensive. I just got to let it go. And then they're kind of relieved that, oh, I don't have that payment anymore, when what just happened is they potentially threw away tens of thousands of dollars. It's like, take that look, see if there's something there to have. But other than that, really appreciate it. Let's all go out, have an awesome day, and grow our circle. All right.
Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.